Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot reading for Aquarius energy, and we're going to read it from both perspectives because we all have this dualistic nature within us, our more loving, hopeful, believing nature, and maybe our more emotionally defensive, fearful, insecure, immature, indulgent, prideful, egotistical nature. We've either learned some lessons in life or we still have some lessons to learn in life. So let's go see what we have. We have the Page of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Emperor. And the reason is because of the Queen of Cups. Some people are harnessing their more youthful, hopeful, believing nature in their dreams. And they are going with the flow, moving forward in their life, not letting their more fearful, insecure, or immature or limiting self-belief nature hold them back. And they want to move forward being an emperor in the world, making a decision. And high vibe people would be doing that because emotionally they love themselves and believe in their dreams. They might be motivated and inspired by other people in their life who are emotionally loving. And the Queens in tarot can mean someone in their emotional state, and the Emperor can be in masculine energy. It can be someone taking action, because we all take action in our masculine energy, and our emotional realm is kind of our hidden realm. So some people, and the Page of Wands can be a message. Somebody might send a message that they're ready to move forward. They've made a decision, and they might be communicating that to someone loving in the world, or going with the flow, making a decision to connect in with their emotions and intuition because they want to move forward in their life and work together with other people who are more connected in with their emotions than their ego, because the masculine can also be us taking action in our more worldly nature. Some people want to do that, but their egoic nature, whether they're male or female, is stopping them. And they're trying to tap into that inner youthful, hopeful nature so they can overcome their defensive nature that might be running their life right now in order to connect in with themselves emotionally so they can connect in with others who are loving. And we're going to get clarifiers on that to fill out the story. The other side of the coin, though, is people who are kind of immature and they have lessons to learn in life. And they might want a situation to go in their favor instead of going with the flow. In our ego nature, we think, you know what? I think I can maybe communicate with someone or maybe take some more immature, impulsive action. And if I do that, I can force the wheel to go in my favor. And they think things will work out in the right manner for them. But if they're operating more from their ego nature, meaning they're doing it out of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, selfishness, greed, lust, it probably won't work out in their favor. When we're in our shadow nature, we're kind of not seeing things clearly because we have lessons to learn about our shadowy nature. And they might view someone as loving and they're going to move forward with a decision, but they could view someone as loving, but the person might not be loving. So let's go get some clarifiers on it. Tell us, let's do the high vibe people first. Tell us about people who have hope and faith and belief in their dreams that harness their high vibe Page of Wands energy. Well, we have something not showing itself. It could be something they're not showing the world or they're rejecting from their life. And then we have the Six of Pentacles, which in high vibe would be people wanting to have equal give and take and exchange resources. The Devil can be someone they're very attracted to. And they're in that inner youthful, hopeful, believing nature where they're willing to overcome their fears and insecurities, and they're having hope and faith and belief in themselves and in their dreams, and they're taking creative action to maybe get more balance within themselves, because maybe their fear or their insecurity or their pride or their ego or money and materialistic nature has been running their life. And they're willing to do that because they're willing to face their fears. And the card not showing itself is the Queen of Pentacles. So, which can be they emotionally could have been more invested in their more worldly nature, investing more emotionally in the things of the world, and they want to reject that side of themselves because in their Taurus energy, which can have to do with our underlying philosophy of life, if they were focused on that before, they're seeing it's not healthy, that it's kind of running their life off into the ditch. When they were investing in being more emotionally invested in the world, in their ego, in their indulging in the world, they could have had other people in their life, because whichever aspect we align with within ourselves, we're going to have people who are happy that we're living our life, indulging ourselves in the world for their own reasons. It could be, I'm glad that you're materialistic and that you're prideful and you're fearful and you're insecure, because then you'll exchange resources with me. But in their Taurus energy, because I view the Queen of Cups as Taurus, they could be someone who emotionally, whether they're male or female, is also more invested in the world. And they could turn their back to equal give and take in a relationship. Basically, if someone is tipped out of balance, they're not balanced within themselves. And so then they could take action and get involved with other people in their life who are also making decisions more out of money or fear or insecurity. And the people they get in relationship with are happy that they're not more balanced within themselves, that they maybe don't love and believe in themselves, that they are more focused on indulging in their addiction, in their ego, in money, because then they'll invest in them. And that person could have their own reasons. I'm very competitive. I'm very out of balance. I like to emotionally manipulate and control people. I like to be in relationships because of money and materialism. And other people wouldn't indulge them in a relationship if they weren't equally kind of over giving, over nurturing, indulging other people in their poor behavior. Some people who are loving and have that hopeful, believing nature have been in a relationship exchanging resources with someone who's not very loving, who again plays on their fear, plays on their insecurity, plays on their addictions, plays on their want for money and materialism. And some people are realizing, I need to quit emotionally investing in my more worldly nature. And I need, if I've been overindulging someone because I love them, if it's an imbalanced relationship, they want justice and fairness in their relationships because they're holding the scales of justice. And they could be realizing, I have been exchanging resources with people in the world, maybe over giving to them and not really getting the justice I deserve. I might have had fears and insecurities and whatever, and that's why I did it. But if I want to be in loving relationships, I need to learn to love myself. And they're cutting out emotionally investing in their more egoic or selfish nature or fear nature, trying to get more balance within themselves. And they're taking creative action. The Page of Wands is like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. So it is like being bold and brave and confident, listening to your intuition, educating yourself about why I previously was living my life the way I was. Why was I indulging people in relationship? Why are maybe other people indulging in a relationship with me? Is it because of love, or is it because of their own fears and insecurities? Was I doing it because of my own selfishness or greed? So, the high vibe people are inspired to face their fears and insecurities, to move forward in their life, tell us how the high vibe people are trying to move forward in their life right now. And the Wheel of Fortune will go in their favor, because that's like a big lesson to learn in life, is to learn to love yourself and treat yourself with kindness and compassion and forgiveness. We've all had lessons learned. That's what the devil talks about. you know, because there can be things in the world that we want, that we're attracted to, that we want to go indulge in. And until we learn to temper ourselves and be more balanced within ourselves, that the things of the world are here for us to enjoy, but to think that we can enjoy them at the cost of loving ourselves, it's giving those things of the world too much power. Like, this will make me feel loved. Those other people will make me feel loved. This will make me feel better. Kind of like, I don't have to love myself. It's like other people will love me. And a big lesson to learn is to learn to love yourself and believe in yourself. And when you do that, you're going with the flow. You're aligning with your more, because your loving nature is your nature that wants you to grow to your full potential, to learn lessons in life, to realize you have a shadowy nature and you need to discipline yourself, or you could run your life off into the ditch, basically, and, create a little hell on earth for yourself and might not get out. So they want to move forward, maybe making more mature decisions in their life, because we go from the Page of Wands to the King of Wands, and it is kind of learning to master. I kind of think we have lessons learned in all four elements. We talk about the heart. In tarot, we have the four suits. It's kind of like your heart, your mind, your passionate, creative nature, and your worldly nature. Some people might be realizing that instead of kind of indulging my more immature nature in life, I need to grow up if I want to be in loving relationships. And, let's see, what's that one Bible verse? When I was a child, I thought like a child and I spoke like a child. And when I became a man or grew up, I put away childish ways. To be an emperor, high vibe, would be someone who is willing to make decisions that are best for everyone involved from a place of love and respect, and trying to be just and fair, like trying to be a good ruler of a kingdom of self, not letting your more immature, selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical, fearful, insecure nature run your life. Bossing up and saying, living my life that way has kind of run my life onto the ditch and created some hell on earth. And I don't want that anymore. I'm willing to go with the flow, get out of my ego, because the devil can represent your ego. I'm going to go with the flow and listen to my intuition, and listen to my intuition about what would truly be emotionally fulfilling and nurturing for me to do in my life. And I'm going to make some better decisions in my life. So tell us about the Wheel of Fortune for the people in high vibe Aquarius energy. You also might know someone who is a good leader in the world. They make good decisions in their life. They make good decisions for the other people in their life that are affected by their decisions. And you could view them as someone. The Queen of Cups can represent a mutually loving relationship. So you could be in your fire energy because either you know someone who harnesses high vibe Aries energy. If they're not in Aries, they are making good decisions in their life out from a place of love. Some of them, they could be a Scorpio, or they're someone who works with other people and enjoys working with people from deep emotionally connected relationships. And it could be someone that you're inspired by, that you do believe there is mutual love there. Or there could be, you're inspired by thinking there could be. Okay, tell us about the Wheel of Fortune for people who are learning or have, learned to love and believe in themselves and not give up on their dreams. Eight of Swords, Ten of Swords, and the Leo Strength card because of the Eight of Cups. They could have been in their head about ending a cycle of their life, because for one, it requires you to walk away from an old way of viewing life that maybe was more immature, because the Seven of Cups can kind of be about illusions. And it could have been because they previously were operating in pride and ego, or they previously let their ego and their fear and their insecurities stop them from walking away from a way of living their life, or other people that they were in relationship with, because kind of their ego, because Leo also can represent our ego, their more egoic nature could have had, we have to love ourselves. To go from the Seven of Cups to go to the Eight of Cups, you have to offer yourself a cup of love. If I'm not going, the Seven of Cups can be a lot of things, but it can be fear and insecurity, emotional confusion and illusion. When we keep moving forward, there's a maximum of 10 in each suit. And if you're Eight of Swords up in your head, that means you've only got 2 cups that are still down in your heart. And some people could have been fearful of being vulnerable, could have been fearful of love, could have been fearful of moving away from the relationships they've been in or are in, because they have to see the truth. Because from the 8 to the 10 is the Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords can be about wanting to be in denial of the truth. That you need to grow up and you need to walk away from your more childish ways of living your life, and you need to temper your more shadowy nature, your fearful nature, your insecure nature. Sometimes some people have been loving, again, some people were the ones indulging people in a relationship. They could be a Queen of Pentacles. They harness high vibe Taurus energy. They're very loving, nurturing, and supportive. And they could have always had illusions that the person they were in a relationship with would get out of their fears and insecurities and temper their fears and ego and move forward with them. And there comes a point in time that maybe you realize that, I seem to be the only one maintaining balance, tempering my ego, where the other person is kind of indulging in their ego. Could harness shadowy Capricorn, shadowy Taurus, shadowy Leo, where they present themselves as loving, but really they live more from their mind and their heart. They don't want to walk away from their old ways of being. They like doing things the way they've done it. They could like to manipulate and control people in shadowy Leo energy because it works to their benefit in the Devil. It's like, I'm good. Let's keep staying in this relationship. You keep loving me. You keep putting in work and effort. I'm glad you don't act like me. I'm glad you maintain your balance. I'm glad you maintain not indulging in your more prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, abusive, petty ways of being. It's great being in a relationship with you when I'm the only one being prideful, egotistical, petty, abusive. This works for me. I know you're in a mental prison, but I don't want you to walk away. I want you to put an end to believing in your dreams, because the Eight of Cups moves towards the Nine of Cups, which can be about being more emotionally independent, loving yourself, believing in yourself, no longer indulging other people, no longer indulging yourself in your codependencies, your fear, your want for the stability or security, or whatever it is that makes people stay in a relationship that's unbalanced. And the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles both being Taurus energy, some people don't really emotionally invest in relationships. It's more to indulge in the relationship or stay in the relationship because of status or image or money and materialism, but they might not be very loving. And some people are getting rid of people like that present themselves as being loving, but really maybe aren't very loving. And maybe some people stayed in it because, well, they're willing to exchange time, energy, effort, hugs, kisses with me. And I have fears of walking away because I would have to temper my own fears and insecurities, and I'd have to see the truth and not be in denial of the truth. That I might keep investing in this relationship, maybe for reasons other than love. I might know other people are in a relationship with me for reasons other than love. And some people maybe weren't willing previously to see the truth of it, but now they could be inspired to have some hope and faith and belief in their dreams, either because they're kind of listening and connecting in more with their own emotions and their own intuition and their own dreams, and it's allowing them and loving themselves to work through their fears and insecurities of detaching from either just their own fearful nature or other people that then came into their life and played on their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, their lust, their greed. And they've learned to temper themselves and get more balance within themselves. To, again, we have a feminine figure here, and the feminines can talk about connecting in with your emotions and your intuition instead of kind of living more from your ego or your fear. And they're tempering their fears and insecurities to be more balanced so they're not tipped so much into living from their mind. And again, the reason could be because they are learning to get out of their head, and they could have worked through a lot of the fears and insecurities, or you're doing that, whichever person you are in this reading. But the tens can talk about finishing a cycle. If we keep persevering to work through whatever aspect of our life we're dealing with, and this could be fear of love. If I walk away, will I find a new love? Will I be able to maintain my own balance emotionally? Will I be emotionally independent? Will I know how to fill my own cup? Can I love and believe in myself and believe I can manifest my dreams? Will there be other loving people out there in the world that I can work with together that won't try to manipulate me? Or some people here in the Queen of Pentacles have been unwilling to make someone a partner. Some people aren't even in a relationship. They've just been working on maintaining their balance and maybe focusing on work and things like that to such an extent, or whatever it is that they like in the world to do, without maybe for some getting in a relationship because they maybe had fear of love, fearful because another relationship, maybe someone was selfish or unkind or unloving, and they've decided they didn't want anybody to be in a relationship with them. But now, because they're inspired by maybe other people they see in the world, even just being loving and being in loving relationships, they want that too. And they've worked through all their fears and insecurities to let go and close out that cycle, to see the truth. I need to temper my fears and insecurities. I need to learn to love and believe in myself. I need to get more balance so that I am not tipped out of balance, living my life just from my mind. It's not very warm and fuzzy when you just live from your mind and you don't learn to love and believe in yourself and treat yourself in a kind manner. Because if you're living all from your mind, you could be kind of harsh and self critical. And, we got the whole world to do that to us. If there's one person in the world every day that should treat you with love and kindness and compassion and forgiveness, that we've got lessons to learn, it should be us. And we should love ourselves so that we don't keep staying in our emotional confusion and illusion. Some people previously didn't want to see the truth, maybe about some people in their life that they could have had love for, and they didn't want to see the truth that the people, instead of being, they could have previously rejected people who harness high vibe Queen of Pentacles energy, male or female, people emotionally who are loving and nurturing and encouraging and supportive. Why? Because they maybe weren't really aligned with that nature within themselves. And maybe they were more focused on being immature, being indulgent, focusing on the world, focusing on, their career or status or something. And they could have thought someone else that they were going to exchange resources with would make them emotionally happy. Because it's kind of like the devil whispering on our shoulder. I'm sure if I live a life of immaturity and indulgence, I'll be emotionally fulfilled. And people could have found out that wasn't true. I feel backstabbed and betrayed. I was living a life of illusion, thinking just being a player, being immature, shadowy Aquarius energy can be, I want to make it look like I'm a shining star in the world. I'm so successful in life that people look up to it and admire me. And people could have reached that where they have all this status and image and money and blah, but they're still up in their head about like being bold and brave and confident in their life and being authentically themselves. Because that's what high vibe Leo energy is about not letting the things of the world define you. It's being authentically yourself, loving yourself, believing in yourself, tempering your fears and insecurities to move forward and be emotionally independent from the world. Judge away, world. It's a fantasy and illusion to think that people aren't judging you anyway. People are going to judge you no matter what. Why not live your authentic life? Be you, do you. Live the life that would really make you happy. Be with the people you'd really like to be with that make you happy. Go get in the jobs and go to school and move to the place that would make you really happy. We're here to live our authentic life, to be bold and brave enough to do it, to not get so caught up in the world that we're kind of creating a little hell on earth. Not make our life so much about money and materialism, rejecting loving people in our life. Life's all about loving ourselves and loving others. That's how we have great long-term relationships with people, you know? But some people have really maybe been caught up in the illusion of the world and pride and ego, harnessing shadowy Leo energy. And when they got caught up in it and thought that's the way I should live my life, and this is what makes me valuable, important, this is what will make me happy, and they found out it didn't, then some of the people in their life also don't want them to love and believe in themselves because they're still caught up in the illusion, and they want them to stay in the relationship because of the money and the status and the addictions and whatever. And then it's like, I'm going to have to put an end to this relationship. When we end aligning with our more fearful, insecure, codependent, shadowy way of being, we detach from people like that in our life too, because we maybe see through the illusion that they're indulging in a relationship with us for their own shadowy reasons. I'm prideful. I'm competitive. I like being in a relationship with you. It makes me look, the devil could represent that it looks like I have it all. Look at all the things we have. Everybody thinks we have it all. Do we? Is it based on love? Or are people in it because of fear, insecurity, pride, ego? Caught up in the illusion of the world? And then when some people want to end it, they're no longer an illusion. They worked through all their fears and insecurities. They loved themselves. They believed in themselves. They see life differently. Aquarius energy is about seeing life from a higher perspective. It's stepping outside of societal norms and making your life all about the world. I want to live my authentic life. I'm going to stand out like a shining star because I'm not living my life like everybody else. I'm really following my passion, following my dreams, not trying to keep up with the Joneses, not playing the social strategy games of I'm better than you are because of all these things of the world, not anything to do with my character and integrity, or it's all gamemanship, living more from your mind and your ego. Some people are going with the flow. They're putting an end to being in their ego about an illusion. Because sometimes people get in those relationships and their jobs and they've been telling everybody how wonderful it is. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. I'm like, this is my dream. I love this. But really, for some, it was just an illusion. For some, they were a really loving partner in a relationship, but the other partner wasn't very loving. The other person could have been indulging in them being loving. but they were kind of prideful, egotistical, controlling. And the other person's like, oh my gosh, am I going to stay in my head about love, or am I going to put an end to this illusion? And they could love the other person, but the other person isn't making the free will choice to move forward in life, to temper their pride and ego, to temper their fears, temper their insecurities, temper their more lustful, greedy, prideful, bossy, controlling nature. And some people are like, I'm done. I'm not going to let my ego nature control me and stop me from making good decisions in my life. And some people have been making good decisions in their life. They've just been indulging someone else. And now it's like, I got to make decisions that are best for me. Instead of me pouring all my love into someone else and they're not pouring love back into me, this is an illusion. I keep thinking they're going to temper their pride, their ego, and they don't. I need to see the truth. People free willingly every day show us what they value and what they're willing to put work and effort into, and basically what they're not motivated and inspired by. It doesn't mean the people in their life aren't valuable people and loving people and all that. They're just not motivated and inspired by those same things. Some people are very driven by status and image and money and materialism, and they could be putting work into that. You could be putting work into that, and they want you to stay in the relationship because of the image it presents. And if you're a loving, nurturing person, they want to stay in the relationship with you, but they're not being very loving. So some people are making the decision, I'm done. I'm no longer going to maintain this illusion and be an illusion about other people in my life as being loving. Why do we sometimes repeat patterns of relationship like that? Because in tarot we talk about that a lot, of how you repeat these patterns of relationship because it was the way you grew up seeing relationship. For some reason, it's a way of viewing relationships that some people think, isn't that what you do? You're loving. Oh my gosh, if somebody is kind of all these ways, look how loving I am. Well, if that's your idea of love, until you see through the illusion of that yes, you can be very loving. But if you're very loving and the other person isn't, and you think it's loving to keep filling them up because it probably is maybe a little bit out of pride and ego, look how loving I am. Look how loving I am. I know they're kind of a shithead, right? Look how loving I am. Are we doing it out of pride and ego? Or is it because we have hope and faith and belief that they're one day going to temper their pride and ego, but they keep showing us they're not? Well, then we're living in illusion. And the whole thing about loving yourself is not being an illusion. It's seeing the truth. And sometimes the best thing I think we can do for people who are being prideful, egotistical, self-centered, because shadowy Aquarius can be that, very self-centered. I'm the star of the show. Everybody else should orient around me. I'm the center of attention. Everybody else should put aside their pride and ego, not me. Is that love? Is that our dream? Is that our truth? Is that the type of relationship we want to be in? So some people are saying, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to overcome my own fears and insecurities that enable other people that are like that to play on my giving nature, my loving nature, and any shadow attributes that I had to learn lessons about. And I'm going to make a decision that's best for me, and it's based on love. We can love people, but if they're out of balance, then if you have done everything you feel you can to love and inspire people and they keep rejecting it, well, then they've made their free will choice. They're not motivated and inspired to treat you the way you treat them. And we can stay in illusion about it or not. Oh, that's awesome. The Emperor and the Empress are a match. It's emotionally presenting yourself in the world and taking action in the world because you have done the work and effort within yourself emotionally to be balanced, because the Empress energy is represented by Libra, Taurus energy. Taurus is about my underlying philosophy of life and relationships and my view of the world. And I've taken creative, inspired, bold action to love myself and believe in myself, face my own fears and insecurities, to love myself enough to be balanced and no longer indulging my more shadowy nature and indulging other people in their shadowy nature. That isn't, you can love people and not be in a relationship with them. If other people aren't putting in the work and effort to be in their Libra energy, just and fair and balanced, and tempering their fearful, insecure, prideful, egotistical, abusive nature, then that's not love. And we can equally be out of balance in being loving as other people are out of balance being in there. And it's kind of both in a way of learning lessons, but it probably could be lessons to learn, and it might be a little more ego-based or fear-based, however we want to justify why we tolerate people who are behaving poorly. And some people are like, I'm going to take action to get the justice I deserve. I'm not going to keep indulging my fears, my insecurities, and I'm not going to indulge other people who aren't being just and fair and loyal and committed and loving. And I'm going to speak my truth. And maybe that was the lesson and why we get in those kind of relationships and repeat those patterns, is to get clear about my truth. Because moving forward in a relationship like this isn't so great. You know, we can keep moving forward in our pride, our ego, our fear, our insecurity with other people who are trying to manipulate and control us, staying in a mental prison, backstabbing ourselves, not leaving, and keep living our life that way. I don't know that anybody had that as a dream, but hoping that the wheel of fate will go in my favor. And some people are like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm giving birth to something new. I'm moving forward in the energy of love. If you put in the work and effort to quit indulging your fear, your insecurity, your pride, your ego, and you're willing to speak your truth, then move forward with me. If not, I wish you peace. And they would speak that to people in their life that previously could have been trying to stop them from believing in themselves, loving themselves, believing in their dreams, harnessing shadowy Aries, Libra, Taurus, and Gemini energy. People who wanted to keep indulging in a relationship with them because it worked out great for them. They were the boss. They were being the pampered, privileged person in the relationship, whether they're male or female. They were defensive to being loving, and it was all about indulging them. They were the pampered person. You have to do what I say. If I say this is what goes, this is what goes. If I say this is just and fair, this is just and fair. I don't care that you're in a mental prison. I don't care that you're stressed out. I don't care that I'm being manipulative and controlling. I don't care, because it's really all about me. Oh, but I love you. I have your best interest at heart, they say. Because some people, it could be a mother figure with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, or the Queen of Cups. Could be a Scorpio, could be a Libra, Taurus. People who come in your life, they present themselves as a loving person, as a just, fair person, as a loyal, committed, hardworking person. And they might be hardworking, they might be committed, they might have a lot of status and image in the world, they might have money and materialism. But internally, they harness these energies in a shadowy way. And shadowy Libra, Taurus, and Scorpio energy, their philosophy of life is that they think it's just and fair either to be the privileged person in a relationship, the center of attention, and be indulged. You're supposed to love them. They deserve it. Just like a little child in a relationship. Maybe they've been the center of attention of their family all their life. And they have these illusions about relationships that, don't I go get relationships and then I get to be the boss? I just present this illusion of being grown up, but internally I'm like a child, and I'm kind of pouty and bratty and selfish, and I don't like to give of myself, and I don't really like to do justice and fairness. I like it to be my way or the highway, and people are just supposed to love me like my parents did and indulge me. That's their truth. Or for some of them, their truth is it's all about money and materialism and status and image. And You're supposed to want for those things too, even though they're not very emotionally loving. Shadowy Scorpio can be people who are emotionally shallow, you know? They love doing things the way they've always done it. They turn their back to moving forward in life. In their Emperor energy, they turn their back to moving forward in life. I am defensive of giving birth to anything new. I like living life the way I've done it. I'm in a mental prison. I'm fearful. I'm insecure. I'm prideful, egotistical. I don't want to walk. They backstab walking away from their old ways of doing things. They never love and believe in themselves. Maybe never connecting with their emotions and intuition. They could be so aligning with their more egoic and fearful nature, they live completely from their mind. This is a good strategy. This looks good. We look very successful. You should stay in a relationship with me. We have this money. We have this status. We have this image. You should stay. It's like, I feel backstabbed and betrayed because I thought I initially got in a relationship that was going to grow and mature, and people were going to grow and mature themselves and keep moving forward in the energy of love. But you seem to have gotten either very materialistic or somewhere along the way, because I could have been very loving to you, you began to feel like maybe the reason I was loving to you was something about you. And then you became kind of full of yourself, like, I really do deserve to be treated this way. Look at the way this person is treating me. The reason I'm treating you that way says something about who I am. I'm a very loving, giving person. I'm a very balanced, strong person. And then you became kind of self-centered and egotistical, thinking like you just deserve this and you don't have to, you're entitled to it. Like it was just some blessing bestowed on you, but like greedy and selfish, like, I don't know. I came in your orbit and it was because of you that I'm like that. It's like, no, I make my own free will choices and I was that way because that's who I am. You somehow got it twisted and thought you were just like entitled to it, but you don't have to be loving and you can be defensive to being loving. For some, another way I see this is that you were in a relationship with people, you were healing and growing and maturing yourself. They didn't like it because you wanted to bring a dream into reality based on love. They might want to bring a dream into reality where everybody is more focused on money and materialism and status and image, or where they are indulged in the relationship. And because you did that work within yourself, they could have been doing a lot of things in the relationship, being unnurturing, not emotionally really investing in the relationship, being that selfish, greedy, doing all these things to make you give up on your dreams of wanting the relationship to move forward in love, because they wanted to do it a different way. They wanted you to live life the way they live it, which could just be very worldly focused. And make your life about that. Be happy in the relationship for that, because that's what makes them happy. They would have to deal with a lot of their fears and insecurities, and they don't want to do that. They are not willing to walk away and temper their fear, their insecurities, their pride, their ego. And then it could have gotten worse, doing more things to try to hurt you and confuse you and get you up in your head and betray you, and maybe being very bossy and controlling and defensive. And eventually some people are like, because you're either truthful and honest and loving in a relationship and you're bold and brave enough to move forward, to bring a dream into reality, or you're not willing to do that work within yourself to get over your fears and insecurities. And then you try to control and manipulate people to make them give up on their dreams to keep indulging you where you're at, where you don't ever deal with those things. Some of you have already moved on from something like that. You're over here. You could be inspiring other people to get out of jobs and relationships and friendships where they're being manipulated and controlled, where people are being, not in the relationship with them for love. It could have started out as love, but when it got to be where people had to go with the flow and grow up and mature themselves and face some of their fears and insecurities, some people said, nope, and I don't want you to either. I'm not willing to walk away from my old ways of being. I want to keep living life the way I've done it. And I also don't want to walk away from other people in my life that maybe manipulate and control me. And if I'm not willing to walk away and I kind of live in life that's a little bit of hell, because I'm not willing to maybe speak my truth and be bold and brave, I don't want you to be bold and brave either and just stay in this little bit of hell with me. And the people I might have in my life that manipulate and control me that I'm fearful of speaking my truth to. And if I'm unwilling to do it, I want you to be unwilling to do it, and you keep living life with me. And it's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm giving birth to love. I've chose love. I'm not going to let fear, insecurity, or other people in my life dictate and control my life. I deserve to live my life authentically. If you're not bold and brave enough to speak your truth to people in your life, or your fearful nature, or your insecure nature, or your prideful, egotistical nature, or the other people in your life that try to push your buttons of your fear nature, your lust nature, your greed nature, to make you stay in relationship with them for their own selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical reasons, then knock yourself out and go enjoy life with them. I wish you peace. I'm moving on. So some of you have already done it. You're inspiring other people to do it. And some of those people are being inspired to do it. Tell us about the people who are not inspired by love, who might keep staying, who have an idea, but they're kind of immature and they have a lot of lessons learned in life. And they maybe don't want to see the truth that they're kind of fearful and insecure, that other people are manipulating them. They could be codependent on other people a lot for their sense of stability or emotional well-being or something. Other people are detaching. So you have people that are detaching from emotionally investing in their shadow nature, and they're done investing in other people in their life that were trying to manipulate and control them. And they are going to be taking action in the world, speaking their truth, that they are defending love. And what they might have been previously defending was an illusion. They could have tried to present it as being wonderful and all that stuff, but over time, it has not become wonderful. Now, the other people, who might be the people being left, or just other people in the world who are kind of self-centered, want things their way, are very much more materialistic, are maybe kind of immature, don't want to temper their pride and ego, want people to indulge them emotionally while they be immature and in their shadow nature. Those people in their emperor energy have decided to invest emotionally in looking like a shining star in the world. And if there's someone in the world who seems by worldly standards to look very successful, they could have money, they could have status, whatever. They've decided they're going to go get in a relationship with that person. And it could be that, for some of them, they weren't really putting in the work and effort. For some of you, some of you had somebody who was really clamping down on you. They're kind of more of a narcissist. For others, you could have somebody who is in a relationship with you and you're just motivated and inspired by different things. They could be a little bit more worldly focused, not people who clamp down and try to restrict and manipulate and control people. You just found out you're kind of motivated by different things in life, and they're maybe not willing to quit emotionally investing in the world and stepping outside of societal norms, and could be really motivated, by the world. So they're not the manipulative, icky people necessarily. But they could be too, But to kind of get all the three different people in here, we'll just talk about people that are, we'll talk about them both anyway. Some people have decided, my wish and dream is to really maybe pursue my career, and I maybe don't have hope and faith and belief that if I were to live my life authentically, if I were to move forward in my life with people that I love, maybe they don't believe they can manifest their dreams into reality. So they could be living a more conforming to the world and just investing in things of the world instead of like really believing in themselves. And again, if they have a lot of lessons to learn being a page, which is more like a child than like an adult or a leader in the world, they could be someone who has a lot of lessons to learn, and they could be very egotistical and self-centered. And you maybe learned a lot more lessons in life than they have, and they really want to either be very successful in the world, or they want people still to indulge them, and they got a lot of growing up to do. So they're thinking they're going to go get in a new relationship. The thing is, when we're in our shadow energy, it's kind of like being in the moon energy. The sun is like not being an illusion, seeing the truth, loving yourself, believing in yourself, listening to your intuition. And the moon is kind of like not seeing things clearly. So they could be inspired by someone they view as loving, but they might not be seeing the truth about that person. So they think they can get the wheel of fortune to go in their favor. They also might be someone who lives more from their mind than their heart, is defensive of walking away from their old ways of being. And they think they can get the wheel of fate to maybe turn in their favor by not showing some things to people in the world, and also by maybe cutting some other things out of their life, like the loving people. Why? Because they think they have found someone emotionally that they can invest in that will make them look very victorious and successful, like they're moving forward in life very successfully. And what they're not showing the world is the Tower, which is maybe that they're, for one thing, they're unstable. They're aligning, instead of aligning with their more stable, loving nature, they're building their life on shifting sand. I'm going to make decisions out of pride or ego or my immaturity, or, you know, and they don't want the world to know that they haven't chosen to love and believe in themselves, and maybe love and believe others and trust others. And they were also willing to let go of a foundation who did want to move forward in the energy of love, because they would have to learn to love themselves and let go of indulging their more egoic nature to align with their more loving nature. And they don't want people to know that. And the other thing they're hiding is that they're overwhelmed, that maybe some loving people left their life. And so they want to look like, you know, if everybody kind of views that other person as like a loving person, I don't want people to view me negatively, so I'm going to go get in a relationship that makes me look like I'm very victorious and successful and like my dreams have come true. And they reject letting go of their old ways of being, because they're unwilling to let go of their Ten of Wands. And Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy, which can be, I'm kind of immature and I'm a player. And if I get in relationships with people, again, they like to indulge in a relationship where people exchange time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses with them, but they reject being emotionally invested in it. It's more about them just indulging in it, thinking they can, don't, not even caring that the other people, so long as the people keep indulging them, they'll keep indulging in the relationship until people see through the illusion that they're kind of self-centered, all about themselves, their wants, their needs, their pride, their ego. They'll stay in the relationship. And when people see the truth and they speak the truth and they move away, they don't want people to know that those people moved away because they're a player. They're all about themselves. And so then they go get in a different relationship to look like they're the victor, they're the winner. But, when we kind of align with our shadowy nature, I would say that's a living your life and having shallow victories. Tell us about how they're harnessing. They think they can move forward and still look like they're the boss, because Probably because they got in a relationship with someone who might have money and status and image, and therefore, in their eyes, they think that makes them look like they won. But we're going to ask in a minute about the person that they're going to go invest in. The other way this could be read is somebody could have communicated to someone, high vibe people, or some people that were in a decision point possibly, had high vibe people communicating with them. I'm attracted to you. I would like to exchange resources with you. But if you're in a relationship or you're more emotionally invested in money materialism, then I'm moving on. I want to be in relationships with loving people who speak the truth, who operate from a foundation of love. Some people had people in shadowy energy because we have our dualistic nature. There's always going to be those opposing type of people in our life that try to get us to be in friendship and relationship with them. And it's all for us to decide what our truth is. Am I going to align with these people or those people? So people could have even been in relationships where it seemed like it was a mutually loving relationship. Some of you chose love, the other person didn't, and they were tempted to align with their more egoic, self-centered nature. And then there's people in their life who communicate with them that, hey, I'll be in a relationship with you. You want to come get in a relationship with me? And they could have thought that person, instead of facing their fears and insecurities and tempering their pride, their ego, and all the work they have to do to align with love and having hope and faith, they decided, you know what, I'm going to align with my more worldly nature. I can look like a shining star with this person. I'm going to move forward with those people. I'm going to let go of the people who don't build their life on those ways of being, because those people harness high vibe Sagittarius energy. They're bold and brave and confident, and Sagittarius is about higher education. They didn't want to be in relationships with people who wanted them to let go of their old ways of being and educate themselves and grow up. And it's like, I'm good enough living, making my life about the world. I can look really successful. I can get in a different relationship. I'll just go find someone else who wants to be in a relationship. And if they're willing to make their life more about status and image and money and materialism, where I don't have to deal with any of my fears and my insecurities and my ego, I pick them. You know, so some people kind of gave in. Our shadowy nature can be our more lazy nature. So tell us about their Emperor energy. They think that this is a good decision for them. They think the Wheel of Fortune is going to go in their favor, that they're going to look like a boss in the world. And if they find someone else who might want to be in a relationship with them, the reason someone else might want to be in a relationship is because they want to look like the winner. Like, oh, look, they have these loving people in their life. They rejected them. Look, they picked me. I'm just like them. See, we're the same. It's like, no, you're not the same. You're someone who presents an illusion of being loving, because the Cancer energy, or the Chariot is Cancer energy. They present themselves as being loving, but they might be more interested in money, materialism too, and status and image. But they think it makes them look like the other people who are the real deal. In their Emperor energy, they are going to move forward in Five of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. I want to look like a star. And shadowy Five of Swords can be people who want to win at all costs. And because they don't want to deal with their regrets. Why aren't people being open and honest and loving? Probably because they've been hurt before and relationships didn't work out. And so now they're operating more from pride and ego and defensiveness. I don't want to deal with my past pain and heartbreak. Oh, look, this other person is communicating with me. They want to get in a relationship with me. Okay. Oh, are you sad? Oh, did a relationship of yours not work out? I'm sad too. I have mental conflict about putting in work and effort and growing and maturing myself. Oh, you too? You have mental conflict about dealing with your past relationships that didn't work out that put you in your pride and ego and you gave up on your dreams of love? Me too. Let's get in a relationship. you know? I just don't think it's going to turn out like they think it's going to. Some of you, you had somebody reject you as a partner because there was someone who harnessed shadowy Capricorn energy who was tempting them to get in a relationship with them, saying, I'll exchange resources with you. And why would they be tempted to get in a relationship with someone like that? Because they are more aligned with their more worldly nature, and they think it's just and fair to either be immature and indulgent in the world. It's all about them, their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. It could have been someone from their past that they felt like they'd missed an opportunity with. And in order to move forward with other people in their life, even though those people could have been loving and just and fair and bold and brave and strong, the thing is, if they haven't healed from a past relationship, they're not ready to move forward. They have to go resolve that and go through that life cycle. The way we resolve our past pain and heartbreak about relationships that didn't work out in the past is just to see the truth that people aren't on the same page. They could be whatever they are, or whatever they want to do, or if they love someone else, whatever. The way we deal with it is being bold and brave and strong and not being an illusion. That if people at any given moment in time were willing to put in work and effort with us, or at that time were willing to do it, they would have. And whatever their reasons could be, we just have to deal with the reality of it and say, I'm not giving up on my dreams. I deserve to be in loving relationships. And some of those people did move forward and get in loving relationships. And if there's other people now who had to go learn some lessons, so they repeated a pattern of relationship, now they have mental conflict about moving forward with those people, because now those people left them in regret because they both could have had lessons to learn. Well, now they've cut that person out of their life, and they might want to reunite with someone previously who they viewed as loving. And that person might say, when you left and went and got, or when our relation, because somebody walked away. When you left and weren't willing to put work and effort into the relationship, I had to do a lot of work to love and believe in myself. And I was brave and strong. And if there was someone else in the world who is willing to be loving, I've given birth to something new. So, that's also going on. You'd have to figure out where you are in this sequence. And then other people, you could have went to go learn your lessons. And I'm not talking about the really shadowy people. The really shadowy people are really shadowy. Those people, if they come around again because the relationship they went and got in didn't work out, they're still the immature, selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical person they are. Have you done a 180 flip in your life and become a completely different person than you were when you were in relationships with those prideful, egotistical, self-centered people? You might have made great changes in your life because of love and hope and faith and belief. But if they were never people who had love and hope and faith and belief, they're still looking for someone to indulge themselves in. And they might think in the Queen of Pentacles reverse that you haven't learned to love yourself. That you might still want to exchange resources with them. Sometimes some people reject you to go indulge in a different relationship, being very selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical. And they think, I can manipulate them. They love me. I'm going to go do whatever the hell I want. And if it doesn't work out, because I know they love me, I'm basically using the love they have for me against them. If that other relationship doesn't work out, I'll just come back. I'm sure they still have mental conflict. I'll communicate to them that I'm sad that the relationship didn't work out. I'm sure they'll still be in mental conflict about being bold and brave and loving themselves. And some of them will be surprised that when they were off being prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, whatever, the high vibe people are doing work to love and believe in themselves. And some of those people could either just now be communicating and getting in a new loving relationship. Some of them had went and gotten their own relationship and they're getting in a new one. Some of them, it goes round and round. I'm sure you can see how this can work out in your life in different ways. But what we're seeing right now going on, high vibe loving people are no longer indulging currently the people in their life who they know are not emotionally nurturing, who are bossy, controlling, selfish, greedy, blah, blah, blah. And they are communicating with some other people in the world right now that they view as loving or are inspired by those people to detach from those people and speak their truth. And they might do that all right now before they communicate maybe with anyone else, possibly. Because we got to do this work within ourselves. The people right now that are still kind of immature and still have a lot of lessons to learn, they might try to manipulate some loving people because we have loving people in the world. You are going to be challenged, probably, by some worldly people trying to tempt you and some loving people trying to tempt you. And you're going to have to decide which one are you going to decide to defend? The loving, just, fair, balanced, loyal, committed, truthful, honest people? Or are you going to choose to defend the prideful, egotistical, and why would you do that? Maybe because of ego, money, materialism, status, image. Who are people going to decide to love? And people right now who might be stuck between two different people, that's what they're having to decide. People are communicating with people, even if it's not, the Page of Wands. In low vibe, the Page of Wands can be our more immature, indulgent nature. In high vibe, it's our more loving, creative nature. Our more immature, indulgent nature is trying to get us to pick the world, to decide, I'm going to keep investing what I've been investing in and how I've been investing in my life. I'm not willing to let go of image and status and money and materialism. And they, by their actions, are communicating to loving people in their life, I'm rejecting you because I am caught up in the world. Those same people that are tempted to do that, they're also being tempted by their loving nature to quit emotionally investing in the world, to get balance, to get justice over their shadow nature, to work through their fears, their insecurities, to be bold and brave and strong, and walk away from their fears and their insecurities of thinking it's not going to work out well. When you indulge in your more immature whatever nature and you're not being truthful and honest and loving and authentic in the world, you're just going to do another round of learning lessons in life. And as you move forward, you're probably going to have a lot of mental conflict about the opportunities you missed in life because you rejected loving people, because you didn't choose to love and believe in yourself or trust other people in love. And you're going to be left in regret. And the people right now who are aligned with their loving nature are, by their actions that they take in the world, communicating to the world, I am not going to be a partner to the devil. That and the world and my ego and my fear. That is not my philosophy of life. I love myself. I've moved on. I've tempered my pride and ego. I am going to be giving birth to something new. And I plan to invest in loving people who want to have deep, meaningful relationships. And if you're not that type of person, I will hold up my sword to you. Whether I have love for you or not. Whether I did love you before. Because some people, it can be your parent, your children, your siblings. If they're self-centered, if they're prideful, egotistical, oh, I'm sorry, those things didn't work out for you. I can still love you. I'm going to speak the truth. And you have to win this battle within yourself. And I'm maybe going to keep my distance from you because I don't care to have bossy, selfish, greedy, prideful, self-pity, envious, jealous, manipulative people in my life, you know? I'm going to keep you at arm's length. Let's ask really quick, though. Um, let's see. Let's get a different deck. What do the people who right now might be tempted to align with their shadowy energy, if they do that, what else do they not see coming? They're going to be emotionally confused because they're not seeing the truth. There are things buried beneath the surface of their emotions. Why aren't they living their life authentically? Why aren't they being bold and brave and confident? Why aren't they being emotionally vulnerable in loving relationships? I do think that's what we all wanted. They hide their more intuitive, hopeful, believing nature, and they've aligned with their more worldly, immature nature. And what they don't see coming, they're also probably not seeing people in their life clearly. They view them as loving, but they're going to have some lessons learned. That person might be just like them, and they might want to be in a relationship with them because of pride and ego. They think they're going to indulge them in a relationship. No, they want to be indulged in a relationship. So then we're going to have two people who aren't being truthful and honest, who don't want to deal with their fear and insecurity, who both want to be indulged in a relationship. That might not work out so well. Tell us about the people in high vibe Aquarius energy who are making good decisions in their life. Oh, you're going to break the heart of the devil. The people who thought they could indulge in a relationship with you and not treat you in a just and fair manner, they're going to be heartbroken. Maybe a Libra and a Capricorn, or people who think in their Libra energy that it's just and fair to live more from their mind and their heart, to be selfish, to be greedy, to be self-centered, whatever. Some of them could communicate to you that they're heartbroken because they went and dallied with the devil and it didn't turn out like they thought. And you might say, yeah, been there, done that. But I'm giving birth to love, and I think you still have some lessons to learn about seeing life from a higher perspective. And I wish you peace. I always did wish you peace. But you seem to be more focused still on the past. And until you do all that work, you know, I might have a new beginning with people who harness their Libra energy differently. Their balance between their mind and their heart. And they are someone I am really attracted to, and they could be really attracted to me. And we're both willing to face our fears and insecurities that are going to bubble up when you move forward in a relationship, where you have to work through your fears and insecurities and all that stuff. And they're willing to do that work with me, and I'm willing to do that work with them. And you weren't, so I'm giving birth to something new. At which point, the people who people aren't getting in a relationship with have the choice. Am I going to keep being bold and brave and loving myself and I'm going to give birth to something new? Or am I going to go indulge in an illusion to feel better? Tell us about the people who are just... Sometimes I view this that we have some people that have clearly made a decision. Some people are definitely aligned. I'm listening to my intuition and love. Other people are definitely aligned with their shadowy nature. And then we have people in the middle that is like, oh shit. I could be really attracted to this person, but I have to grow up, mature myself, let go of certain people from my life, can't keep my options open. I would have to boss up. Or I could kind of keep indulging myself in the world. Tell us about the people who are stuck in the middle. They really do not want to show us their answer. They're trying to bury it beneath a lot of stuff. A King of Wands is really up in their head. Do they take this cup of love? Do they move forward in love? Would their dreams come into reality? Should they present themselves as loving? Is the person being truthful and honest or deceptive and manipulative? Oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. I have someone in my life right now that I might be in a relationship with who has money and materialism and status, is willing to invest in me in a relationship, but I'm kind of inspired to give birth to a new beginning where it's real and it's true and it's authentic. and not staying in a relationship where someone might be indulging me in a relationship. It might look like I have it all, but I'm really kind of indulging in it. Ace of Cups, Knight of Swords. Whatever they decide to love, because, excuse me, I dropped the card. The Knight of Swords really wants to fall on the floor. The Knight of Swords is Gemini energy. Some people that are in the middle right now could be really defensive. Because if they choose love, they're going to have to speak their truth. And they really don't want to speak their truth. Especially if they're in a relationship right now that might, by worldly standards, look really successful. And if they keep staying in it, it would look victorious in the world. But they struggle with it because if I keep staying in it, I think they're afraid they're going to end up in regret. Because it's kind of like they didn't grow themselves to their full potential. They kind of stayed in a relationship with someone who's nurturing and loving them, male or female. But it's really being in the relationship maybe more because of the things of the world than love. Right now, they might be defensive to offering love to anyone. If they offer love to repeating patterns of the past, I guess they would be repeating and going back to the past, and they wouldn't be moving forward and communicating with their more loving nature and other people in their life who they view as loving. I'm glad I'm not them. I'm over here. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.